So here we are with the ballast in place across both tracks. We've tried to keep it off of the sleeper tops, as I mentioned, and away from the rails, and it's roughly in the position we want it. Now's the tricky bit. What we do now is we apply some water from a spray bottle with a couple of drops of washing up liquid. This water will seep into the ballast, and because of the washing up liquid, it breaks the surface tension of the water and allows the water to run through the ballast. By applying the water, it gets the glue to run straight through the ballast much easier. Try not to overdo it, but that's kind of about the level we need. Now, this is the PVA that I showed you earlier. It's a 50-50 mix with a couple of drops of washing up liquid, and I use this pipette to decant it onto the ballast. Now the way I do it is I tend to do the centre run of the sleepers first. When you see the glue on top of the sleepers, you want to keep adding it until it doesn't run away. So that way you'll know that you've applied the kind of right amount. Try your best not to touch the ballast with the pipette, because it will only move it around, and the last thing you need to do is to move it, because it will sort of get all sticky into clumps. I know, I've done it before. Now hopefully you can see that it is still running through the ballast, so you know it's time to add just a little more. When you come to do the outside, keep the pipette above the sleeper ends, and then you'll see that the PVA will just run down into the ballast, rather than try to put the glue onto the ballast shoulder. Clearly this is time consuming, it will take you a good while, but the benefits from having a good ballast on your layout is absolutely enormous. It really does bring the layout to life. And now you can see that we're just about there now, because the PVA doesn't run away that quickly. It's staying that milky colour, and you know that there's enough on there. So here we are now, a couple of days further on, and as you can see, all the ballast is done, and I've actually removed all the masking tape that was used to protect the cess. So now it's all nice and clean, and we're kind of good to go. But of course, it doesn't look very prototypical. It just looks rather bland. It just looks like ballasted track. So now we need to put a bit more effort into it and make it our own. And fortunately, PECO make various types of weathering powder. And what I'm going to go for today is brake, dust and rust, and also coal dust. So I'm going to use using an ordinary brush and put those onto the track, though there is much more products in this range. You can also use, from their scenic material range, there is a real coal and also an ash and cinders, and these are the ideal products to use in and around a steam loco shed. And I particularly like the real coal because I can use that in the back of my 16-ton mineral wagons when I wake up my coal trains. So let's apply this. So this is the coal dust. What I want to try to do with this is to replicate just a short area of track where locos might stop at a signal, and so you're going to get oil spillages contaminating the look of the track. So let's lay some of this down and see what it looks like. And you can see straight away it goes onto the ballast quite easily, brushes off the top of the sleepers, and it gives the track your own kind of personalisation. It gives a flavour of what you like, what you're about. Of course, the best way to do this is to find a photograph from on the internet or whatever of the period that you're trying to model, and then try to do a likeness. Not necessarily a complete copy, you know, you'll never do that. but try to make it your own and give it your own kind of feel. Of course, being a weathering powder, it won't necessarily bond permanently to the ballast, and perhaps you've got a small exhibition layout that's on its side and in the back of the transit van and off to exhibitions every now and again, and in which case you might then choose to use a matte varnish to seal the weathering powder to your layout. Okay, so let's try the brake dust and rust. And of course, brake dust and rust can be seen right through the real railway, because locos brake all the time. Obviously you get the powder coming off the brake shoes, but not only from the locos but also from any all braked rolling stock will give out the same kind of look. But the main thing to do is not to do it all the same. You must make it inconsistent for a change, so it's got a kind of a look to it. And that is how I kind of like the feel of that. That's quite good. It's a nice colour. I might just add a little bit of black on top of that and see how that looks. Just to darken it down just a shade. Yeah. So now you've got your kind of oily look in the centre of the rails and also your brake dust feel on the outsides. And the great thing about using this rather than an airbrush, of course, is if you overdo it, you can get it back off. But with an airbrush, of course, once it's on, it's pretty much on, especially with ballast, because you can't really get the paint back off. Okay. Well, that kind of sums it up for today. So we've taken you from a bare board to hopefully a bit of a prototypical look on what PECO products are here to enhance your track. We went from track laying, the ballasting, we used the cork, painting. It was good. I think we've got a very good product, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.